In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how I canned up my KALUA pork. It's very easy. I'll show you the recipe and the process. So it's a pretty good deal, 99 cents a pound. I'm going to make KALUA pork. KALUA pork is really easy. The only thing you need is some Hawaiian sea salt. It doesn't have to be the red. Could just be the regular Hawaiian salt. And I use liquid smoke because I don't have the emu to stick this into the ground. So this is how I do it here on the mainland. So the first thing that I'm doing is I'm completely deboning this. I'm cutting it into chunks and I'm going to be working in the Hawaiian sea salt along with the liquid smoke. And I'm going to be putting this directly into my jars because I am just doing the raw pack method today. So this is keeping it nice and easy. I'm also being mindful of the distribution of fat because I want each jar to have its own fat and juice, so I'm cutting that up and trying to pack that evenly. Also, before I started this project, I did cut out a couple of gaskets for my lids because the grooves are getting pretty deep. I just put out a video showing you the whole entire process that I did, but I've been experimenting with this and it's been working really well. Alright, so here I've cleaned all of my lids with vinegar, the rims with vinegar already, and my lids as well. And so here's one of the lids. Hopefully you can see how that puckers out right there. And I just shape it back by putting it against the counter like that. And the most important thing is just making sure that there's no debris on here. And this one is pretty grooved on the rubber gasket part. So I'm going to use one of these silicone things that I cut out. And I'm just going to make sure that that is also free of debris as well with my vinegar. Yes. And then lining that on here. And grabbing a clean piece of my rag and making sure again that this is free of debris as well. And then I'm going to put this right on here. And I also want to make sure that my ring goes on smoothly. So I did try this before and I had a couple seal and a couple fail. And what I think happened is that I didn't cut it super flush around here. So I made sure this time that they were more flush, and I just took my X-Acto knife and cut around those pieces. I'm gonna do two just for the sake of the experiment. Here's the one that I cut from my mat, from my silicone baking mat that I never used. And just make sure that that is on. And so the difference also with these ones is that you have to crank them down just a little bit tighter. So where you would put this on is, when you're putting on your regular lids, you turn it and kind of back off a 1/4 inch, This one you want to put a little bit more snug, is what I've noticed. Just a little tiny bit. Has anybody seen my Sharpie? No. Okay, so before I start, I'm going to mark these ones that I'm just going to put a little star right here, just to show me that these are the ones that have the gasket thingy, because when I take them out, I need to tighten those. so that the gasket stays down. These ones, you don't need to do that. So I'm going to put them in my canner. So these are pint jars, and I processed them for 75 minutes, and I'm looking for that little star that I drew on the lid so that I know which ones to tighten down. By the way, if you guys haven't already and you like this kind of video, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'm going to look for
the best book I've read since Who?
those ones.
Who is one of the
I have to
greatest.
tighten those down.
Who is the enemy? And
I'm going to pull them out.
read a story. Guys.
They are popping already.
We stood on the porch.
Pinging.
He asked. No, you cannot bring it to sea. The sheep ran in the field, and far off the cows moved slowly to the pond like turtles. And then.
So here is my jars. The next morning I washed them off because I did get a little bit of siphoning on this one. It's not a problem. Anything above the water line will just probably discolor, but they're all fine. And I just wanted to show you real quick all of these sealed. I took off the bands and washed them, and even though there was quite a bit of oil in the canner, they had no problem sealing. So these are all sealed, including the ones with the, where is it at? This mark on here. So this is the one that I used with that gasket. You can see it kind of has a little bit of bulging right there after compressing. And that's the one that I cut from the mat, my silicone mat. And then the other one has, oh yeah, the star right here. This one is the one that I used with just the silicone ring that go on the glass top jars, the hinge ball jars, whatever they're called. And I just cut this down, and you can see there's kind of a little bit of bulging, but it's still sealed, and that lid is on. So real quick, I was editing this video and realized that I kept saying bulging on the lids. So I pulled these back out, and what I'm talking about, when you have a can food that's bulging, that usually means that it's contaminated. So that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is this piece of the gasket that is sticking out further than the lid itself. And so even though that it has that, it is still sealed. So that's what I was trying to refer to in the video. And then when I was looking at it, I was like, okay, I need to clarify that. So this is the KALUA pork, and here's the other right there. You can see this piece of the gasket is kind of poking out a little bit. So that's what I was talking about in the video. Maybe you can see it better from this angle. There we go. It's focusing now. So that, even though that's poking out right there, it is still sealed, and the lid is on there.